I'm Allie,
I'm Daniel.
and the most urgent issue that the new administration should focus on is student debt.
So compared to the U.S. national debt of about $19 trillion, the $1.26 trillion for student debt is a big fraction for that cost for students alone.
Because of such a drastic comparison from just student debt and the entire nation's debt, many either do not enter college, do not graduate within 4 years, or have to pay off the debt for years with the salary of their new careers. In 1990, the average college graduate had a debt equivalent to 28.6% of their annual earnings. Data shows that the number shot up to 74.3%.
According to HuffPost analysis, student debt at graduation for a typical bachelor's degree could exceed annual wages by 2023.
According to USNews.com, about 70% of students graduate with student loans. This payment for student debt lasts for about 21 years, which means that they have to pay while in school and into their new careers.
The amount of student loan debt has soared in the past decade, shooting up from $240 billion at the start of 2003 to over $1 trillion today.
The graph shows the increasing amount of student debt each year.
As you can see, the student loan debt has nearly quadrupled. The pie chart shows that student debt is 44.4% of the federal government's total financial assets.
Student loan debt is rising because the government grants and support for higher education have failed to keep pace with the increasing college costs.
The burden of paying for college has shifted from federal and state governments to families.
The government doesn't carry out their fair share of college costs, even though the government gets an increase of tax revenue from college graduates.
Family incomes have been low since the beginning of the decade. This causes students to borrow more money or enroll in low-cost colleges.
Students are shifting their enrollments from public colleges to private colleges and from 4-year colleges to 2-year colleges. This is also a probable cause of why there is a decline in bachelor's degree attainments among low and moderate income students.
College debt has a lasting impact on students' lives. Some studies show that students will graduate with excessive debt or are about 10% more likely to say that it caused them to hold off on things like buying a home or getting married and having kids.
These students are also 20% more likely to say that their accumulated debt interfered with their employment plans, causing them to take on another career outside of their field of interest. They also work more than they desire and take on more than one job sometimes.
An opposing view would be those that support student loans. One of the claims is that payments do not necessarily need to be paid out in full if the student income is low.
And the Obama administration made it a priority to try to help borrowers who have large, crushing debt loads. What are some of the ways that the Obama administration has tried to do that?
So they have tried to do it in a couple of different ways. One is improving called an income-based repayment program, which was actually started in the early 90s, and that is allowing borrowers to pay based on their income. And there are a couple of programs out there where you can pay 15% of your income or 10% of your income depending on when you borrowed, and the administration is bolstering that program expected at the end of the year, where more borrowers would have access to pay 10% of their income. And they've also tried to help in other ways. They have a student loan bill of rights.
Federal loans can be taken out without a credit history. One of the perks of having a loan for the family of the student is that if the person taking out the loan dies, the federal loan will be canceled and no longer need to be paid off. Interest rates are fixed, therefore payments won't rise if rates rise. If you are having trouble repaying your federal loan, you may be able to temporarily postpone or lower your payment. Lastly, the biggest benefit of taking out a federal loan is that they will go into default after 9 months of missed payments, and at that point, the government can take money from your paycheck or tax returns to recover for your debt.
Student debt is a major issue that must be attended to by the new administration. If student debt is not solved, the debt will probably double, if not triple, in no time. Student debt can be solved in several possible creative ways. Student debt crisis is a major issue, and if it is solved, there will be a whole chain reaction of positive outcomes that will result in making the United States a better place.